Hello, students and grown-ups. Thank you for exploring shapes with me. I hope that you are able to notice shapes in the world around you, or now that you see shapes, you know the names of them and you can say them to whoever you're with. That would be a really great way for you to remember the shapes and learn more about shapes. So that's great. And another way that we can become a shape expert is to just practice drawing shapes. And I'm going to just say this right now. We haven't really done this very much. So if you're having trouble drawing some of the shapes, it's okay, because some of the shapes are a little bit tricky and it takes a lot of practice. So if you're making a shape and it looks not perfect, that's okay. Now, before we practice drawing the shapes, I hope that you have tried to trace the shapes on that sheet, because that is a good way to learn how to draw something, is to just start off by tracing it so your brain starts to remember which way to make your lines. But we're going to just practice drawing without tracing right now. For our drawing practice, you're going to need a drawing tool. Any drawing tool that you want to use is fine, and some paper. And any kind of paper you have is also fine, because we're just practicing drawing the shapes today. So I want you to remember that we're just practicing the shapes, and if your shapes are not perfect, that is okay. The first shape I want to practice is a circle. And that's that roundish shape. And you can practice a whole bunch of circles if you want. Or if you can think of something that is a circle shape, you can draw that too. That's a good way to practice. So here's a pizza. That is a delicious circle. And a square has the 4 straight lines that are equal. Square. Practice some squares. If any time you want to pause this video so you can draw along, that is fine too. Triangle has 3 straight sides. Triangle. These are some of the more simple shapes to draw, right? Oval. Oval is kind of round like a circle, except it's squeezed in the middle a little bit. It's like a long circle. A long circle for an oval. That one sometimes can be a little bit tricky, but you just practice it, and that's how you get better. And I'm just filling in the spaces of my sheet. I'm not worried about this looking pretty because I'm just practicing. A rectangle is kind of like a square. It's got straight sides, 4 straight sides, but 2 are the same. Not all 4, like a square has 4 the same, but a rectangle only has 2 sides that are the same. You just practice drawing your rectangles. And a diamond is kind of also like a square, except it's like it's turned on its side and it's stretched out a little bit. Diamond is a fun shape, I think. And remember, you can turn any of these shapes into things that are that shape. Like here's my kite. That's a fun diamond. You just practice. Now, the other shapes are a little more tricky. So these are the ones I really don't want you to get upset if you can't draw them perfectly, because we're just trying, okay? So a heart. I'm really good at drawing hearts because I've been drawing hearts for a long time, but if you're new to drawing hearts, don't get upset. One way that I show the kids to do it is to just remember our bumpy line, like a bumpy line like that, and then the letter V. And that's a good way to make a heart. And it will take some practice. So if you make a heart that doesn't look right or looks kind of silly, or too small, you could just X it out or scribble it out, because this is a practice paper. Oh, and if you're running out of room, you can just turn your paper over and use the other side. crescent is another shape that is a little hard. Crescent is the shape that reminds people of a moon. And if you can write the letter C, you can make a crescent, because I just draw the letter C, that curved line, and then I make another one inside. And that's how I have always made my crescents, but it does take a little practice, so that's fine. An octagon is the shape that looks like a stop sign. That one's very hard. So I just draw this, and then I make 2 lines down. If you can't do an octagon yet, that's okay. The octagon takes a lot of practice. So I just do a straight line, 2 diagonal lines, 2 vertical lines, 2 more diagonal lines, and a horizontal line. Takes a lot of practice. Don't get frustrated with this one. And a star. Now I can draw a star very well too, but I've had a lot of practice. Some ways that the kids do a star is a star like this, where they start at the bottom. They go up, down, kind of like an uppercase A, but then they go this way, and then this way. These take a lot of practice too. Please do not get upset if you can't make this yet, because you have to practice. Another way the kids will do this is they will draw a letter A, but they'll make this line go like that. And then they'll go zoop and zoop. And they'll just keep practicing until it starts to look right. And that's all that you can do, is to practice. So these are all the shapes that you should practice today. And it is okay if they don't look right, because we are just learning how to draw these shapes. Okay, boys and girls, we drew those shapes. We practiced, and this is my crazy dog, Penny. She's so silly. She wanted to be in the video and say hi to you. And Penny wants you to practice drawing your shapes. And Penny says it's okay if you make a mistake, because we're just practicing something we've never done before. So Penny, say goodbye to the friends. Goodbye, friends. Bye.